Hello guys and welcome to SteveKnows. I've got some great news stories I want to share with you today, such as Theif finally gets that hand tracking update. There's potentially going to be even better quest performance. GTA 5 gets an update for the virtual reality mod, and I've also got some tidbits and a giveaway, so let's get started on the news. Okay, so Arizona Sunshine, the zombie title on the Quest from Vertigo Games that allows for up to 4 players to play cooperatively, or you can play just you and a friend through the campaign. It's got its first proper update on the Quest system, and a while back you may have seen that I showed you the roadmap of all the updates that are going to be coming out for this game. So it started off with the two-handed update where we got much better weapons, two-handed weapons, and now we've just had the first DLC drop. This one is called the Old Mine Update. So if you'd played the campaign, you would already know about the mine section, and where you have a flashlight and you're in a dark area, and it can be pretty scary sometimes because you can't see what's around every corner and you have to scavenge for supplies while zombies are hiding around every possible crevice. Now that map is available, but for Horde mode. And what's different about this is that instead of a wide open map where you've got plenty of light to see what's going on around you, here you have small spaces, complex tunnels, and you have to use the vertical ascension instead of the horizontal. This update, if you own the game, is free as well, because if you bought it on the Quest, it comes with the DLC expansions already in the cost. Vertigo Games also gave their own set of tips for this level, set of rules to help you survive, such as know the map, stick with friends, find a solid loadout, and keep moving. Another update is set to come, the Undead Valley as well, next month for the Oculus Quest. And if you guys are interested, I do have a key to give away on this title as well. There's a couple of giveaways going, an Oculus Quest HMD and now this game. So if you want to get involved in that, subscribe to the channel and there's a link in the description on how to get stuck in. So Theif hand tracking, this was fast. I feel like I was just talking about this the other day, that Theif just had an update and they were talking about that hand tracking is soon to come down the line. And it's already here. Voidrum have added simple hand gestures such as selecting a menu button, shooting a weapon, grabbing things. There are 8 different gestures, but I just can't stop seeing the instruction menu where it shows you what these gestures are as some sort of poster a frat boy or a college teen would have in their bedroom. Looks naughty. Is it just me? And with hand tracking, gestures of course will have some getting used to, because I'm just used to having a remote. It's like second nature now. We've been using controllers for so many years that then when we have hand gestures, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. Voidrum have stated that this hand tracking is not perfect. It's rough around the edges, the way that they've implemented it. It doesn't have things such as smoothing or tracking predictions. But what they've done well, which I think is a testament to the great minds that are behind this title, is that they thought about gestures and how they're going to be used. It's not just do this gesture and this will happen. They've had to think about how can the user use multiple gestures at once in order to achieve something, improving the experience, but also improving the kind of complexity that it allows the user to have in a hand tracking game. Great thinking. Take note, guys. There is this lengthy, I'm just going to call it a blog, which is supposed to be the release notes for this version, that talk about the process and the issues that they have come across. It's kind of given me a newfound respect for anyone trying to implement hand tracking, because there are things that you wouldn't even think about that cause problems. It's not as easy as it seems, such as holding your hand out like this to shoot a gun. You're actually blocking now half your hand with your thumb and your wrist, so the hand tracking is not as perfect. It doesn't work as well. But for a phase 1 where you have freedom of hand tracking, multiple gestures at once, the freedom to walk around indefinitely as it maps out your play space, and the wireless freedom of the virtual reality headset, this is a great phase 1 of the Oasis. Brilliant. This is just a quick one for PlayStation VR owners, because if you are a PlayStation Plus member, you know that every month you get a bunch of free games, and there is a virtual reality game coming in February that will be completely free if you are a member, and that is Firewall 0 Hour. Brilliant. This is a virtual reality 4v4 multiplayer online shooter that has been compared to games such as Rainbow Six Siege, and it's compatible with the aim controller if you have that to deepen the immersion as well. It's not going to cost you anything. Okay, some super interesting pieces now. The Grand Theft Auto 5 virtual reality mod. So a few months back you might have heard that there was a modification available for you to experience GTA 5 in virtual reality. Although this mod meant you had to play the game using a joypad, it did mean you could experience Grand Theft Auto in a stereoscopic 3D view with head tracking. But this was big. The community went mad. This is a huge, massive game that you can experience in virtual reality, and I know people want Red Dead, but Luke Ross, the developer, has stated that there are a few issues with this, so perhaps not anytime soon. Maybe with the 30 series from Nvidia. It might help. So the developer Luke Ross has just released a new update for this modification, and it comes with some improvements that means you may want to jump in this game and start enjoying it again. And to let you guys know, Rockstar on Steam at the moment have a publisher sale, which means you can grab GTA 5 for 50% off, which is only £12. That is a bargain to experience such a great VR title. And for Quest owners, the Oculus link wasn't available when this was first announced, but it is now, so you can go and enjoy this as well. So the changelog on Luke Ross's GitHub states this: they have implemented a universal field of view fix that works during normal gameplay, in scripted animations, and when you're aiming your weapon, and cutscenes. Because cutscenes was a known issue with this. The cutscenes were not in focus. They'd be really up close and blurry. You couldn't really watch the scene anymore. And now they've fixed that. And apparently they've also got rid of the clipping of the scene. So instead of you just seeing the frame that Rockstar had set out for you, you can now experience the environment. But there are a few issues with this. Apparently non-playable characters might pop around. So if you do see certain issues, don't panic. They are expected. It's just better than it was. They've also added a simple batch file for you to automatically configure your initial graphic options. So if you choose high, medium or low, you'll no longer need to go manually and change through the configuration. A batch file will do all of that for you. A much better seamless user experience. You also no longer need to manually edit your settings and state the graphics card that you're using. It will extract this information automatically. The graphic option can also now be changed dynamically. So if you're in game and you're experiencing some issues because you're running on an old card, and you decided to go all ultra, all out, and it's not running too great, now you can just change that on the fly without having to exit and reconfigure your app. And for you modding fans, they've added more support for more modifications on GTA 5, such as Natural Vision Remastered, Visual 5, GTA 5 Redux, and more. There's also smoother camera rotation whilst on foot in the first person view, because jitters can induce motion sickness. They've improved the camera reset logic upon recentering the game, because when you used to recenter it, it would no longer be straight, the orientation would be skewed. They've fixed some of the effects in the post-processing. They've disabled head control during skydiving, field of view issue when you're using helmets, and the camera. They've improved the camera management during the third person view. So a few little updates, but the biggest one is that fixed field of view is going to make a great difference. And if you've just heard of this, Theif has a great video on how to set this title up. That's a lot easier to follow, because reading the README file is a lot of text there, probably too much information that you don't actually require. So there is a video if you want to set this up and enjoy the game. This is a proud moment. VR gamers, early adopters, enthusiasts, let's rejoice, because we have just had some interesting statistics that show that virtual reality is taking off, and I am beyond excited. So if you're a Steam user, you may know that Steam provides monthly statistics, and you can view things such as the hardware that's being used to play games, the GPU, the CPU, what virtual reality headsets are being used, and we have just hit 1.3 million headsets connected to Steam in the month of December, and that's just users connected to Steam. There's people using PlayStation VR, there's people using the Oculus Quest, there's people only using the Oculus platform. These virtual reality statistics have been climbing since 2016 at a rapid pace. Road to VR have collected some data since 2016, and you can see that hockey stick projection that John Carmack was talking about at OC6. This is exciting times. They've also used predictive modeling using Naive, which means that they've not associated any relationships between the attributes that they're assessing, and you can see that hockey stick projection. 2020 is the year of virtual reality if we continue at the pace that we are. It's incredible what a difference great games can make, because we've had some terrible releases, lots of mini games in virtual reality, but in 2019 we started to see some real deep complex games, and we've got even more to come, and people are getting excited for this. They want to experience it, so please keep delivering us great games. Even more amazing news, that Oculus in December on Christmas Day hit nearly $5 million in software sales. They nearly hit that after 2 weeks of launching the system. So people clearly getting more headsets over the Christmas period than the early adopters of the Quest on launch day. That is amazing statistics. So I now want to touch on Vulkan support in Unity for developing Oculus Quest titles. So Vulkan was already supported in Unity, but now it's available for Oculus Quest title development. Vulkan is to replace OpenGL, which has been in the industry for a very long time. Vulkan is a low-level API, which is an application programming interface which means a way for a program to talk to each other to achieve an outcome, as the API is a great way to abstract complexity for a developer to make use of. So Vulkan is designed to better use multiple cores in processing, which the Oculus has 4 of, and 3 of them are available to use for gaming. So what Vulkan does is that it streamlines the communication between the CPU and the GPU, and this reduces the overhead on drivers for draw calls, which in turn should conserve the Quest's power consumption. It should also improve the load times. The company has been boasting 35% performance improvement, although Facebook reported 20%. I do go deeper on the details in this in an older video if you're interested, but the proof is going to be in the pudding. I don't want to hype too much because we don't have anything here to provide actual evidence, and it's rare for something like this that comes out to be as groundbreaking as the marketing makes it out to be. So let's wait and see. So that's it from me today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video, getting caught up on all the latest and greatest virtual reality news. Remember to subscribe and stick around for the giveaways. Thanks for watching SteveKnows. Happy gaming. Good day.